The nostrils imitate the eyes when they weep, and the eyes wished they could laugh along with the mouth. Welcome to another episode as usual. And today we're going to section 11 of Surah 7. It begins with ayah, sign, verse 85. The three mean the same thing. In the last episode, we came to the prophet called Lut in Arabic or Lot in English. Today, we are going to another group of people and their leader. And they are the Madian people, or maybe Midian or maybe in English or in the Bible. Okay, Namshi. وَإِلَى مَرْيَنَ أَخَاهُمْ شُعَيْبًا قَالَ يَا قَوْمِ. Oh, the same thing they repeat to, all the prophets repeat to their people. قَالَ يَا قَوْمِ اعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ مَا لَكُمْ مِنْ إِلَّهٍ غَيْرِهِ. All of them said to them this very saying. Ya qawmin ibudu Allah ma lakum min ilahin ghayrihi. Worship God. There is no God other than Him. Okay, let's go. Let's see. And Shuaib is another prophet of the Madian people. Madian, I think, is one of the sons of Abraham is called Madian, or a son of him is called Madian. We sent Shuaib. We sent Shuaib. وَإِلَى مَرْيَمَ أَخَاهُمْ شُعَيْبًا. We sent Shuaib, one of their own brother, Ahahum, one of the own brothers, one of their own brethren. He said, Ya qawm ibudu Allah ma lakum min illahin ghayrihi. O my people, worship God. Ye have no other God but Him. And the second sentence is also a repetition of all the prophets that we have mentioned before. Ja'atkum kat ja'atkum bainatun min rabbikum. Kat ja'atkum bainatun min rabbikum. Now hath come unto you a clear sign from your Lord. Now has come a clear sign from your Lord. Lut said it. And the prophets that came earlier than him. Abraham and whatnot. Ja'atkum bainatun min rabbikum. فأوفوا الكيل والميزان ولا تتخذوا الناس أشياءهم الكيل, weight and scale. Let's see. Now hath come unto you a clear sign from your Lord. Give just measure, and weight. Give just measure and weight, nor withhold from the people the things that are their due, and do no mischief on the earth, after it has been set in order. Yes, God has set the earth in order, everything in order, no cheating, no crookedness, obedience and whatnot. That's the order that they're talking of, and other things. Al-Kaila, well, Mizan, Al-Kaila is measure. Give just measure and weight, Mizani. Now withhold from the people the things that are due to them. Wala tafsidu, no. Al-Qaeda. Wala tabhasu an-nas ashya'ahum, what is owed to them. That from the give just measure and weight, no, withhold from the people things that are their due. Ashya'ahum. Wala tafsidu fil ardi bagda islahiha. And do no mischief on earth after it has been set in order. Sorry, I've repeated it. Pardon me for that. Okay. Bagda islahiha. Zalika khayrun lakum in kuntum mu'minin. Zalika khayrun lakum in kuntum mu'minin. That will be best for you if you have faith. When the Europeans were in Ghana, the cocoa farmers used to take their produce to them to weigh, and they would give them just measure. We salute them. Sometimes the colonials were good. To give them just measure. When they went, they measured everything justly. When they went away, the black man will take away, will deliberately reduce the measurement and steal some of the cocoa. So that is a measurement tool. You go to a land department or people who measure lands, the land, they will deliberately cut part of the land. So this verse is telling us to give just measure and weight in our dealings with people, and not to take away the rights of people. Asya umbala tafsidu fil ardi bagda islahila. Zalika khayrun lakum in kuntum mu'minun. That will be best for you if you have faith. And that is best for you if you have faith. The question is, do we really have faith? Let's see if there is any commentary to read. Yes, there is. 1053 and 1054. Some viewers may have this Quran with them, but this is not the original color. The original color is black. The book got so old, and I had to replace it with this color, with this cover. 53. Let's go to 1053. Madian, this is a commentary. Madian may be identified with Midian. So Madian may be identified with Midian. Midian and the Midianites are frequently mentioned in the Old Testament. Madian and the Midianites are frequently mentioned in the Old Testament, though the particular incident here mentioned belongs to Arab rather than to Jewish tradition. The Midianites were of Arab race, though as neighbors of the Canaanites, they probably intermixed with them. They were a wandering tribe. It was Midianite merchants to whom Joseph was sold into slavery. So this commentary is telling us that it was Midianite merchants that Joseph was sold to, or Madians, and who took him to Egypt. Yes. Their principal territory in the time of Moses was in the northeast of the Sinai Peninsula. The Sinai Peninsula, and east of the Amalekites. Under Moses, the Israelites waged a war of extermination against them. They slew the kings of Midian. They slew the kings of Midian, the same as Midian anyway. They slew the kings of Midian, slaughtered all the mules, burnt their cities and castles, and captured their cattle. Numbers 31, verse 7 to 11. This sounds like total extermination. Full stop. Yet, a few generations afterwards, they were so powerful that the Israelites, for their sins, were delivered into the captivity of the Midianites. Yes, that's how power is balanced by God. When we're small boys, sometimes one will beat the other, and other times the other will beat the one. So, okay. For the captivity of the Midians for 7 years, both the Midianites and their camels were without number, and the Israelites hid from them in dense caves. In dense is spelled DENS, caves and strongholds. Into brackets, Judges 7. Yes. Judges 7, 1 to 6, or Judges VII, verses 1 to 6. 2. Gideon destroyed them again. Gideon, brackets close. Gideon destroyed them again. Into brackets, Judges 7, 1 to 25. Brackets close. Say about 2 centuries after Moses, as the decisive battle was near the hill of Moreh, not far south of Mount Tabor, we may localize the Midianites. On this occasion in the northern parts of the Jordan Valley, at least 200 miles north of the Sinai Peninsula. This and the previous destruction under Moses were local and mention no town. And mention no town of Midian. In later times, there was a town of Midian on the east side of the Gulf of Aqaba, Aqaba is spelled Aqaba. Full stop. It is mentioned in Josephus. Eusebius, and Ptolemy. Into brackets, Encyclopedia of Islam, brackets close. Then it disappears from geography in Muslim times. Full stop. Then it disappears from geography. Full stop. In Muslim times, it was a revived town with quite a different kind of population, but it never flourished. The Midianites disappeared from history. The Midianites disappeared from history. It continues, the commentary continues on 1044. Shuaib belongs to Arab. Shuaib, that's Jethro. Shuaib belongs to Arab rather than to Jewish tradition, to which he is unknown. So it's not known in Jewish tradition. Full stop. His identification with Jethro, the father-in-law of Moses, has no warrant, and I reject it. Well, I'm not saying it's not. So Shuaib may not be Jethro. Other commentators say he's Jethro. He is Jethro in Jewish tradition. Okay, let me repeat that. His identification with Jethro, the father-in-law of Moses, has no warrant, and I reject it. There is no similarity either. There's no similarity either in names or incidents, and there are chronological difficulties. See note 1064. We are yet to get there. See note 1064 below, brackets close. If, as the commentators tell us, Shuaib was in the fourth generation from Abraham, being a great-grandson of Madian, a son of Abraham, in brackets, he would be only about a century from the time of Abraham, whereas the Hebrew Bible could give us a period of 4 to 6 centuries between Abraham and Moses. Centuries between Abraham and Moses. So, where am I? Between Abraham and Moses, full stop. The mere fact that Jethro was a Midianite and that another name, Hobab, is mentioned for a father-in-law of Moses in Numbers X 29 is slender ground for identification. Pardon me, viewers. Is slender ground for identification. As the Midianites were mainly a nomad people, we need not be surprised that their destruction in one or two settlements did not affect their life in wandering sections of the tribe in other geographical regions. Of course, they didn't have permanent settlements, so it's difficult to exterminate them totally. Full stop. Shuaib's mission was apparently in one of the settled towns of the Midianites, which was completely destroyed by an earthquake. Verse 7, chapter 7, verse 91. I think we've done that. It was, I don't know if no, not yet. Chapter 7, verse 51, brackets close. If this happened in the century after Abraham, there is no difficulty in supporting that they were again a numerous tribe 3 or 5 centuries later in the time of Moses. See last note. As they were a mixed wandering tribe, both their resilience and their eventual absorption can be easily understood. But the destruction of the settlement or settlements, into brackets, if the wood or Ica was a separate settlement, see note 2000 to 15, verse 78, to establish Shuaib was sent to preach was complete, and no traces of it now remain. The name of the highest mountain of Yemen, Nabi Shuaib. Nabi Shuaib, the name of the highest mountain of Yemen, Nabi Shuaib, into brackets, 11,000 feet, has probably no connection with the geographical territory of the nomad Medianites, unless we suppose that their wanderings extended so far south from the territories mentioned in the last note. That's long commentary. Anyway, people between Abraham and Moses. Okay, that's quite long. Okay, my notes here you can see Abraham, how far he is from Moses. You can see here until here Moses comes here. You turn over, and of course, Shuaib comes before him. So we can see from Abraham to Shuaib, the end of it is Shuaib. Then after Shuaib comes Job, Zulkiflu, and then Moses. So whether it's 100 years or 400 years, viewers, I don't know. It's something for us to accept or not. Okay. Where are we going? We've done 85. And all the commentary is for 85. We're now going to verse 86 or ayah 86. Wala tukudu bikulli siratin tu iduna wa tisduna an sabilillahi man amana bihi, and squat not on every road siratal. La tukudu, squat not on every road. Bikulli siratin, on every road. Breathing threats and hindering from the path of Allah, from the path of Allah, from the path of God, Yesuduna. Sirata to iduna, what to suduna, ansabi illahi, and hindering from the path of God. Man amana bihi, those who believe in him. So don't hinder those who believe in him from worshiping him. Okay. Watabgunaha iwajan. Let me go back. And squat not on every road, breathing threats, hindering from the path of God, those who believe in him and seek to make it crooked. And seek to make it crooked. Iwajan. Watabgunaha iwajan. And seek to make it crooked. Wa iskuru is kuntum kalilan fakatarakum. But remember how ye were little, and we gave you increase. Remember how ye were little, and we gave you increase. Wa iskiru is kuntum kalilan fakatarakum. Wa inzuru kaifa kana akibatu mufsidin. Wa inzuru kaifa kana akibatul akibatul mufsidin. and see what was the end of those who did mischief. Al-Mufsidin, those who did mischief. And we go to the commentary on it, 55. The Midianites were in the path of commercial highway of Asia. So at least we know that they were in commerce, they were traders, and they were wanderers, no permanent home as such. So the Midianites were in the path of commercial highway of Asia, viz, that between, namely, that between, viz is V-I-Z, viz, namely, that between two such opulent and highly organized nations in Egypt and the Mesopotamian group comprising Assyria and Babylonia. Full stop. Their besetting sins are thus characterized here. 1. Giving short measures or weight. Yes, they were cheats. Giving short measures or weight, whereas the strictest commercial probity is necessary for success. Then 2, a more general form of such fraud, depriving people of rightful dues. 3, producing mischief. Yes, producing mischief and disorder. The world that God has set in order. Producing mischief and disorder, whereas peace and order had been established, into brackets, again in a literal as well as metaphorical sense, bracket close. 4, so you see that since we are numerous. 4, not content with upsetting settled life, not content with upsetting settled life, taken to highway robbery. So robbery didn't start today. Since the time of Moses, and even before. Taken to highway robbery, literally, as well as 5. That's the fifth misbehavior. 5, metaphorically in 2 ways, viz, or namely, cutting off people from access to the worship of God. That's the last one, I believe. Very serious. Cutting off people from access to the worship of God and abusing religion and piety for crooked purposes. For crooked purposes, i.e., exploiting religion itself for their crooked ends. It's still happening today. Viewers, don't you agree with me? People are exploiting religion today for their crooked ends. And for their crooked ends. As when a man builds houses of prayer out of unlawful gains, or ostentatiously gives charity out of money which he has obtained by force or fraud, etc. It's happening today. People build houses from monies got unlawfully, monies got from innocent people, confiscated from innocent people, force or fraud, etc. After setting out this catalog of besetting sins, after setting out this catalog of besetting sins, Shuaib makes 2 appeals to the past. 1, you began as an insignificant tribe. Yes, Kalilan. They began as Kalilan. They began very small, Kalilan. They began as an insignificant tribe, and by God's favor, you increased and multiplied in numbers and resources. Do you not, this Shuaib talking to them, do you not then owe a duty to God to fulfill his law? That's one. Then two, from Shaib again. What was the result in the case of those who fell into sin? Will you not take warning by their example? Of course. So you see that this verse is not for Shuaib's people only, it's for all of us. We don't look at the past to see how God punished people who disregarded his order, who disregarded the order with which he set the world. Okay. So Shuaib began his argument with faith in God as the source of all virtue and ended it with destruction as the result of all sin. In the next verse, he pleads with them to end their controversies and come to God. Okay, that was commentary to 86. We're now going to 87. And what does it say? وَإِنْ كَانَ طَائِفَةٌ مِنْكُمْ آمَنُوا بِالَّذِي أُرْسِلَتْ بِهِ وَطَائِفَةٌ لم يؤمنوا فاصبروا حتى يحكم الله بيننا. What does that say? And if there is a party, if there is a party among you who believes in the message with which I have been sent, and a party which does not believe, hold yourselves in patience. Isburu, hold yourselves in patience until God does decide. Hatta yahkum Allahu bainahum, until God does decide between us. Benana rather, until God decides between us. Yahkum. Oh, where is it? Decide between us. Yahkumu bainana wa huwa khairul hakimin. Wa huwa khairul hakimin. And God is the best to decide. Huwa khairul hakimin. God is the best to decide. We cannot decide anything because we don't know everything. Our knowledge is limited. What we know about incidents, everything that happens in the world is limited. He knows everything. Huwa alimun. He knows everything. Let's go to the commentary. For he is the best to decide. Let's go to the commentary and see what is there. And that is... 57. No, I think there is an earlier commentary to it. Yes, it should. That's commentary to 87. No, commentary to 80. Yes, commentary to 87. And it goes, Madian is torn by internal conflict. Shuaib comes as a peacemaker, not in virtue of his own wisdom, but by an appeal to the truth, righteousness, and justice of God. As we see later, the real motives of the opponents were selfishness, arrogance, violence, lawlessness, and injustice. It's happening today, even as I read. There is destruction going on by the Israelis against the Palestinians. The same destruction that was meted out to Madianites during Moses' time. So as if we are advanced, and yet we are not. or we call it ourselves advanced, and yet we are not. We are not actually advanced. Mhm. As we see later, the real motives of opponents were selfishness, arrogance, violence, lawlessness, and injustice. But he appeals to their better nature and is prepared to argue on the basis that the party which wants to suppress those who believe in God's message and in righteousness has some sincere mental difficulty in accepting Shuaib's mission. Yes, it's happening today. Those who are bent on making God's plans crooked will never give the righteous the chance to straighten things. Okay, accepting Shuaib's mission. If, into brackets, this is a new sentence, but the if is in inverted commas. If he says to them, and inverted commas again, if he says to them, that is the case, do you think it justifies your intolerance, your violence, or your persecution? On the contrary, events will prove by themselves who is right and who is wrong. Yes, just as today, later events are yet to prove who is right and who is wrong. Whether the Israelis are right or the Palestinians are right, whether Ukrainians are right or uh, Russians are right. So, on the contrary, events will prove by themselves, by the events themselves, who is right and who is wrong. To the small band of to the small band who believe in his mission and follow his teaching, he would preach patience and perseverance. Yes. So it's difficult to do the work of God. It's difficult to be righteous. It always has to follow with patience, as sobre, as sobre, as sobre. Otherwise, you would be derailed by the unrighteous, by those who are unrighteous. He would preach patience and perseverance. Yes, that's a sobre in Arabic. His argument to them would be, you have faith. In inverted commas, his argument to them will be, you have faith. Surely your faith is strong enough to sustain you in the hope that God's truth will triumph in the end. This is more or less the same as La yukallifu Allahu nafsan illa wus'aha. God will not burden one except that they can, with what they cannot bear. God will not burden anybody except that they can bear it. So here he's telling us that the commentary is telling us that the faith alone is okay to make them exercise patience and perseverance. Triumph, hope that Allah's truth will triumph in the end. There is no cause for despair or dejection. How exactly these past experiences fit in the times of our holy guide, Muhammad? How exactly these past experiences fit in the times of our holy guide, Muhammad? In other words, patience. Muhammad worked with patience, 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 patience. And it is for that analogy and that lesson that the stories of Noah, Hud, Saleh, Lut, and Shuaib are related to us, all different, all different, and yet all pointing to great lessons in Muhammad's life. So, in other words, the times, the perseverance, the patience of, and the beckoning of these prophets, Noah, Hud, Saleh, Lut, and whatnot to Shuaib, are no different from that of Muhammad, the last prophet of our time. Okay. Uh, We come to the last commentary on verse 87 or ayah 87. And what is it? What is it? See the argument in the last note. God's decision may come partly in this very life. God's decision may come partly in this very life, either for the same generation or for succeeding generations. By the logic of external events, either for the same generation or succeeding generations by the logic of external events, full stop. But in any case, it is bound to come spiritually on a higher plane. If in a higher plane, eventually, when the righteous will be comforted and the sinners will be convinced, and the sinners will be convinced of sin from their own inner conviction. So that's the commentary for verse 87 or ayah 87. Viewers, time is going, and I think we should. The commentaries have been rather long, but very fruitful. And I think we should stop here until we come in our next episode, and that will start with ayah 87. That is verse 87. May God give us the energy to do that, and the patience to do that. Thank you very much. Bye bye till we meet again. Au revoir.